How are you doing?
I'm so good, thank you so much.
So obviously I saw the first 30 minutes. I think this movie might make some money. It's possible. So I heard through the grapevine that when you guys did the first test screening, it tested incredibly well. What is it like to have a screening go so well when you're first putting it in front of people?
Well, I think, truthfully, we are just driven by trying to deliver audience satisfaction, right? More so than box office. And I think that's kind of the place that we work from every day throughout the entire filmmaking process. So, for audiences to enjoy the film or for it to resonate with them, it's the greatest gift you could ask for. It's what we set out to do.
So one of the things about this film is that it has an awful lot of cameos. I'm not going to talk about any of them specifically, but was there any cameos that you guys tried to get that actually couldn't happen, or did everything you tried to do work out?
Cameo is not a word that we really use in our filmmaker group, because I think that implies more of a shock value, right? And for us, we're purely story-driven, and if a character does or does not show up, they're either driving the story or they have a full beginning, middle, and end emotional arc. And so I think everything we set out to do from a story perspective from the beginning really worked out for us.
So basically no one said no.
Your words, not mine.
Right, I understand. So what do you think would surprise fans to learn about making a movie like this?
I don't know if this would surprise fans, but to see truly how hard Ryan and Hugh and Shawn work, it's not just, there's nothing that's a given on any day. Just because they're a giant movie star, just because they're so talented. These guys pour their entire mind, body, and soul into the movie set. Hugh is in the gym at, and Ryan, 3, 4 a.m., then they have a full day of shooting, and they just never stop, and they really are so wholeheartedly committed and give everything to making these movies. So I don't know if that would surprise people. Maybe they expect that, but to me, it's pretty remarkable to see guys at that level working just as hard, as they probably did in the beginning of their careers.
So I'm fascinated by the editing process. When you get in the editing room, you guys are all working on it. How did the film change in the editing room in ways you didn't expect going in?
It's hard to say, because the editing process, especially in a comedy, is all about trying things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. And so I think that was kind of all organic. I don't think there were many huge surprises during the editing of the film.
So, okay. Did you end up with a lot of deleted scenes?
There's only a few deleted scenes that are very, very short. I think structurally the script and what we set out to make was so sound, but I will say there's probably, an infinite number of alt jokes or line readings or this or that, because there's so much great comedy gold and improvisation. So I feel like you probably could have made an infinite number of versions of this film.
Well, that's what I wanted to actually ask about, which is eventually this will be out on Blu-ray, 4K, all that stuff. How much have you guys thought about showing people, we filmed this 15 times and there are 15 great jokes and we chose one?
That is a great question. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pull that off in time that we have to deliver for home entertainment, but we're definitely going to have a few deleted scenes and hopefully maybe a gag reel where you could see how many versions of a similar joke there were.
I would imagine producing a film like this has enormous challenges along the way. What is one or two obstacles that you had to overcome as a producer to keep this train on the tracks?
Honestly, the biggest challenge that we had was after shutting down, coming back in the winter in London. We had started shooting the film. It was meant to be a spring-summer shoot, so all the costumes were designed that way, and suddenly we're back in December in London and it's 20 degrees outside, and you have half the movie in the can, so you can't just start dressing people in jackets in warm weather, so we had to pivot and have heating tents and heating tubes, and we had an army of costumers standing by with parkas, basically. And as soon as you would say cut, they'd run in there and wrap everyone up. And, aside from it being absolutely freezing, we had 3 to 4 hours less of daylight every day. So we had less time to actually make the movie. And that by far was the biggest challenge we had to overcome.
On that note, I look forward to seeing the completed film, which
I can't wait for you to see it.